G'day fellas, really enjoyed our time up in Katherine. Lots of good yarning, nobody run amok, we just looked out for each other. That's the way it should be. Just a couple of things I've been thinking about. I want to talk about them today. Me and me little dog Snowy. Strongborough says strong men, strong families, strong culture and strong future. They're all connected. You get strong men and you'll have all the others follow. Strong men will be warriors, stand tall and afraid of nothing. Brave and clever. Brave because they speak up and hold their ground. Clever because they've learned some hard lessons and they're not afraid to talk about them. They are leaders, or could be, because men want to follow them. And women like being protected and appreciated by strong men. Kids, of course, just love them because they're happy men. Strong families. People doing life together, living with order and calm. A small mob because strong men set boundaries. Strong family is small mob, not whole mob. Even strong men cannot control the whole mob, so they take over your family, your house and your stuff. Not good. Strong culture. I hear, hey, that's our culture. Like we heard in our yarning circle. And later to hear some of you talk about humbug and payback. Strong culture does not allow people to get hurt and other people's stuff to get damaged. Old culture did, but over a long time, people have learnt to live better, to adapt to what is now, not hang on to what was then. Strong cultures come out of what is best, what lets people grow and thrive. Holding on to old stuff like language and love of connection with country, stories and dance, while throwing out what holds people back from growing and thriving. There was a time when the whole world controlled their women by bashing them to make them behave. Then something happened. It was huge and nearly the whole world changed. History tells us he was a carpenter. Then he became a preacher. He helped people get along with each other, even people they hated. And he was also a healer, cured deadly diseases and helped them get better. The church people didn't like what he said, so they killed him, but it was too late. People found out what he said was true and formed a strong culture that spread all over the area. Then the government tried to kill them all, but by this time they were everywhere, living just like the man said to. Small mobs yarning and looking out for each other. Then another amazing thing happened. After a while, the government decided everyone should live like these people live. So they made it the religion for everyone. It went downhill from there. But my point is, people moved away from old culture toward new culture. One that beat women and one that didn't. Now, I'm not saying one culture is better than another. That's not for me to say. I am saying, however, that if one culture allows people to grow and thrive and another doesn't, then we can make up our own minds. There are still countries that didn't like what the carpenter man said, and they've kept their culture like it always was. Women can't go anywhere, they can't go outside without a man, they can't wear clothes that they like, and they can't go to school or drive a car, and they can't travel to another country, because if they were allowed to do that, all the women would go. And you notice that nobody wants to go live there. Even people, after war destroys their own country, they'd rather go nowhere, to live as refugees, than to go and live there. Surely that tells us something about cultures. They're both strong cultures, but one that works for all the mob and one that doesn't. Which brings me to humbug and payback. Talking with some of you in Katherine, I got a better picture of what they are and the effects they have on you. As I see it, humbug means you don't have any right to own your own stuff. You have to share it with everyone. Payback is that idea of getting even with people who hurt you or your family. I hear you saying it is part of our culture, and I don't want to disrespect your culture. I don't intend to make a judgment of any kind, for it is not for me to say that. When I was a therapist, I saw lots of people whose lives were not working, something holding them back from growing and thriving. Often they would ask me, "Is what I am doing wrong?" I would never answer that question, for that would be me making a right or wrong judgment. Instead, I would ask another question like, "Is it working out well for you?" They, of course, knew that it wasn't. Same with humbug and payback. Two things that hold people back. Strong futures. Like I said at the beginning, strong men are leaders. They make decisions and people follow. Decisions like caring for their family, looking after their stuff and all the things that their small mob needs, not the whole mob. Decisions like choosing to forgive even bad stuff so that the cycle of payback ends with them. Strong bala stuff. They do this to make a better future for them and those close to them. They are warriors fighting for a stronger future, to give their small mob someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to, a better future.